Okay, so I've always wondered, how do bees actually make honey? Like, where do they even get the stuff to start with?
That's a great question to kick things off. Bees don't just whip up honey out of thin air, you know. They start by heading out to flowers, those bright, colorful ones in gardens or fields. Worker bees, those are the busy females who do most of the work, fly from flower to flower, landing gently on the petals.
Flowers? But why flowers? Can't bees make it from nothing, like magic or something?
No magic here, though it does seem pretty amazing. Bees can't create honey from scratch because they need something sweet to build on. Flowers make this special liquid called nectar. It's like a sugary drink that helps attract bees to pollinate them, spreading pollen around. The bee uses her proboscis, which is basically a long, straw-like tongue, to suck up the nectar from deep inside the flower. It's sweet from the sugars the flower produces, mostly from sunlight and water.
A proboscis? That's the tongue thing? So she slurps it up like a straw in soda?
Exactly. Imagine you're at a picnic with a fizzy drink, using a straw to get every last drop. The bee's proboscis uncoils and dips right into the flower's base, pulling out that sticky, watery nectar. One bee might visit dozens of flowers in a single trip, filling up little by little. It's not a lot from each one, maybe a tiny drop, but add them all up, and it's enough to make a real difference back at the hive.
Wow, so they're like little collectors, buzzing around all day. But doesn't the nectar just drip everywhere while they're flying?
Good observation. Bees are smart about that. They store the nectar in a special pouch inside their body, not just in their mouth. It's like having a built-in backpack for liquids. That way, it stays safe during the flight home. Without flowers giving them that starting sweet stuff, though, there'd be no honey at all. Nectar is about 80% water and sugars, mostly from plants turning sunlight into energy. That's the base. Bees just refine it later.
I get it now. Flowers provide the nectar, and bees use their proboscis to collect it. No creating from nothing. It's all from nature's candy.
You've got it. Think of it like baking cookies. You can't bake without flour and sugar. Bees need their ingredients, too. And those worker bees are pros at finding the best flowers, even remembering where the sweetest ones are from day to day. It's teamwork with nature.
That makes sense. But once they've got the nectar, how do they carry it back to the hive without spilling a single drop on the way?
Spilling isn't an issue for these clever bees. They've got a clever system for transport. Remember that built-in backpack I mentioned? It's called the honey stomach, a separate little sac in their abdomen, not part of where they digest food. The bee fills it up with nectar during her flower visits, like packing a water bottle for a hike. It can hold about 40 times her own weight in liquid, which is incredible when you think a bee is smaller than your thumb.
Honey stomach? So it's not their real tummy? That's weird, but smart. Like having two stomachs, one for snacks and one for work stuff.
You've nailed it. It's exactly like that. The honey stomach is just for carrying nectar back to the hive, keeping it separate so it doesn't mix with the bee's own meal. Once she's loaded up, she flies home, sometimes miles away, without a drop lost. The nectar sloshes around safely in there, protected by a valve that keeps it contained. When she arrives at the hive, that's when the real sharing begins.
Sharing? Do they just pour it out like passing a juice box around?
Close, but even more fascinating. It's a mouth-to-mouth handoff, kind of like how birds feed their babies, but between grown-up bees. The worker bee lands at the hive entrance and meets up with other workers inside. She regurgitates the nectar, yes, brings it back up from her honey stomach, right into the mouth of a waiting hive mate. They pass it along, one bee to another, in a chain that can involve several workers. It's all very organized, like a relay race, where everyone's passing the baton super carefully.
Regurgitate? That sounds gross, like puking. Why not just spit it into a bowl or something?
I get why it might sound yucky at first, but it's actually a clean, precise process for bees. No mess involved. Their mouths are designed for it, with tiny hairs and muscles that make the transfer smooth. And here's the cool part. While they're passing it mouth to mouth, something special happens. Enzymes from the bee's saliva start mixing in. Enzymes are like tiny chemical helpers that break down the complex sugars in the nectar into simpler ones. Nectar is mostly sucrose, a big sugar molecule, and the enzymes turn it into glucose and fructose, which are easier to handle and store.
Enzymes breaking down sugars? So it's like chopping veggies before cooking them. Makes them easier to use later?
Perfect analogy. Just like prepping ingredients in the kitchen to make a recipe work better. This breakdown starts right during the sharing. So by the time the nectar has been passed along a few times, it's already changing. It helps prevent the honey from crystallizing too soon or getting spoiled. The whole hive is buzzing with this activity. Thousands of bees working together, passing nectar from one to the next until it's ready for the next step. It's not every bee doing it alone. It's a team effort that keeps the colony fed.
Thousands? No wonder hives are so busy. So the mouth-to-mouth thing isn't just sharing, it's starting the honey-making recipe with those enzyme helpers.
Exactly. And it shows how bees are like little chemists without even knowing it. Imagine a busy kitchen where chefs keep handing off dough to knead it softer and softer. That's the nectar getting refined through all those transfers. Each pass adds more enzymes, slowly turning the watery mix into something thicker and sweeter. Without this sharing step, the hive couldn't process enough nectar to survive lean times like winter when flowers aren't blooming.
Got it. The honey stomach carries it safe, then they pass it along mouth to mouth, adding enzymes to break the sugars down. It's all about teamwork, turning raw nectar into bee food.
You're following along beautifully. This process can take hours, with bees vibrating their wings a bit during the pass to mix everything up. It's efficient. One foraging bee might share with 5 or 6 others before the nectar heads deeper into the hive. And those enzymes? They also make the honey less likely to ferment, acting like natural preservatives. Pretty ingenious for creatures without hands or tools.
Yeah, nature's way of multitasking. But after all that passing and mixing, what happens next to make it not so runny anymore?
Ah, that's where the transformation really ramps up.
Yeah, so spill it. What's the big change that turns that passed-around nectar into actual honey?
Right. Let's dive into that magic-like shift. After the mouth-to-mouth relay, the nectar, now mixed with those enzymes, is ready for the hive's storage cells. These are the hexagonal wax pockets in the honeycomb, like little built-in jars. A worker bee regurgitates the nectar straight into one of those cells, dropping it in carefully. But it's still pretty watery at this point, almost like thin syrup, so they can't just leave it like that.
Regurgitate again? Into the cells? Okay, but why not keep it runny? Wouldn't that be easier to eat later?
That's a smart why question. Changing it isn't just busy work, it's survival smarts. If they left the nectar watery, bacteria and wild yeasts could grow in it, turning it sour or fermented, like milk gone bad in the fridge. Bees need food that lasts months, even through cold winters when no flowers are around. So, they evaporate most of the water out, dropping the moisture from about 80% down to around 18%. That thickens it up, makes it sticky and golden, and kills off any spoilage risks. It's like boiling sap into maple syrup. Concentrate the sweetness to preserve it.
Evaporate the water? How do tiny bees do that without a stove or fan?
No appliances needed. They use their own bodies as the tools. Once the cell is filled with nectar, a bunch of worker bees gather around it and start fanning their wings super fast, like little living fans on high speed. Each bee beats her wings up to 12,000 times a minute, creating a breeze inside the hive that whooshes over the open cells. This airflow pulls the water vapor out bit by bit, drying the nectar over hours or even days. Picture a hot summer day when you hang wet clothes on a line. They dry faster in the wind, right? Same idea, but bees control the wind themselves.
Wings as fans? That's awesome! They're like built-in hair dryers for the hive. So all that fanning makes it less watery and more like the honey we spread on toast?
Spot on. And it gets even better. While they're fanning, the enzymes from earlier keep working, flipping more sugars into forms that resist crystallization. No gritty lumps in real honey. The color deepens too, from pale to that rich amber, as flavors from different flowers blend in. One hive might have honey tasting like clover or wildflowers, all depending on what the foragers found. It's not instant. A single batch could involve hundreds of bees fanning in shifts, keeping the hive's temperature just right around 95 degrees to speed things up without cooking it.
Shifts? So it's a round-the-clock job? I bet the hive gets pretty drafty from all that wing action.
It does hum with activity, but the bees cluster together to stay warm. It's all balanced. Without this drying step, the honey would draw in moisture from the air and spoil, or weigh down the comb too much. Think of it like making fruit leather from juice. You spread it thin and let the breeze take the water away, leaving chewy goodness. Bees have perfected this over millions of years, turning flower gifts into a superfood packed with vitamins and energy for the whole colony. A queen bee might eat up to a pound of it a day, just to lay eggs.
Millions of years? No wonder they're experts. So the fanning and enzymes team up to thicken it, prevent spoilage, and make it last. It's like nature's dehydration trick for long-term snacks.
You've grasped the heart of it. Transformation through teamwork and physics. The runny nectar becomes stable honey, ready to fuel flights, feed larvae, or survive tough seasons. And those worker bees don't stop at drying. They keep an eye on each cell, adding more nectar if needed until it's just right. It's a process that shows how every bee's effort adds up to something sweet and enduring.
Totally get the why and how now. Evaporating water with wings to make it thick and safe. But after it's all dried and golden, don't they worry about it getting ruined somehow in there?
That's a fair worry. Bees have put so much work into that honey, they wouldn't leave it exposed to the elements. Once the nectar has been fanned dry and thickened into honey, the workers give it one final check. If it's the right consistency, not too runny with that low moisture level, they seal the cell shut. They do this by chewing up wax from special glands on their abdomens and molding it into a thin cap over the open top of the hexagon. It's like putting a lid on a jar of jam to keep it fresh, but the lid is made right there in the hive.
Wax caps? From their own bodies? So they produce the stuff to seal it, like bees making their own Tupperware?
Precisely. Those glands secrete flakes of beeswax, which the bees warm and shape with their jaws until it's pliable. Each cap is neat and precise, fitting perfectly over the cell. The honeycomb itself is this amazing structure of thousands of these six-sided rooms, all built from that same wax. It's lightweight, yet strong, like a natural filing cabinet where every drawer holds a portion of honey. The whole thing hangs from the top of the hive, and bees store different things in different areas. Honey up top, pollen lower down for protein, and brood cells for raising babies.
Hexagons? Why not squares or circles? And does sealing it really stop leaks or dirt from getting it?
Great eye for details. Hexagons are the most efficient shape because they fit together without gaps, using the least wax possible. It's like how engineers design bridges for strength and savings. As for leaks, the honey is so thick and sticky by now that it doesn't drip. The cap just adds an extra barrier against any humidity in the air that might try to sneak back in. Dirt and bacteria? The sealed comb keeps everything sterile. Bees are super clean, grooming themselves constantly, and the low water content in the honey starves out microbes. No room for spoilage when it's locked away like that. A full hive can store up to 60 pounds of honey, enough to feed the colony for months if flowers get scarce.
60 pounds? That's like a big backpack full of syrup. So the honeycomb is their pantry, all organized and protected. But what if something chews through the wax or floods the hive?
Bees are vigilant guardians. They patrol the hive and repair any damage right away, adding more wax if a cap gets bumped. The structure is tough. It's held up against rain, wind, and even predators like bears who sometimes try to raid it. But most of the time, that sealed storage means the honey stays pure, a reliable food supply for the queen, workers, and growing larvae. Worker bees eat it for quick energy during flights, and it's packed with nutrients from all those flowers. Imagine a squirrel stashing nuts in a tree hollow and covering them with leaves. That's the hive's version, but way more advanced and airtight.
Patrolling like security guards? Makes sense. They've earned that protection after all the collecting and fanning. I can picture the hive now, like a buzzing warehouse full of golden jars.
You've painted it just right. And this storage isn't just about today. It's for the long haul. In winter, the colony clusters tight, eating stored honey to generate heat and survive until spring blooms again. The wax caps also let bees label cells with scents so they know exactly where to uncap for a snack. It's all part of their genius system, turning fleeting nectar into a lasting treasure that sustains the whole family of up to 50,000 bees.
Family? Yeah, it's not just food. It's what keeps their home running. Sealing it with wax sounds foolproof. No leaks, no germs, just safe sweetness.
Absolutely. And it's why honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found edible pots of it in ancient tombs. The honeycomb's design maximizes space, too. Those hexagons hold the most without wasting a drop. Bees even reuse the combs year after year, melting down old caps to build new ones. It's sustainable, like recycling your own lunchbox.
Ancient tombs? Honey that old still good? That's wild. They really nailed the storage part.
They did, and it's a testament to their instincts. Without that careful sealing and honeycomb setup, the colony couldn't thrive. But here's something neat. While bees make it for themselves, we've figured out ways to harvest a bit without harming the hive, letting us taste that flower magic too.
Harvest? So that's how we get jars of honey at the store. Bees share with us?
In a way, yes. Beekeepers gently remove frames of comb, spin out the honey, and leave plenty for the bees. It's a partnership. Bees pollinate our crops, and we help them by moving hives to flower fields. That golden treat on your toast? It's the end result of all this bee teamwork, straight from nature's workshop.
Partnership makes it even cooler. I get it now. The whole process, from flowers to sealed combs, is bees' smart way of storing their hard-earned honey safely. No more worries about it going bad. It's perfect.